Okay, this is your friendly neighborhood. Arrogant, poorly aging, sarcastic, witty, intelligent, good-looking PC gamer. And we just got back from checking a house we bought. Now the house was selling for $20,000, and so of course, having only something like $3,200 on us, we bought it. Since we have to break into this one, I don't think this is the ship we just bought, or the boat we just bought. The Red Book of Riddles. It has a tail, a side, a head. I call it what I call a snake. It has no body and it's dead. The answer, it must be a drake. I figure if we're trespassing, we might as well. Although it says the bed is ours. Oh, then it says it's an owned bed, so it can't decide. I figure if I'm trespassing on a boat, I might as well steal everything in sight. I would normally say, you know, I'm poor and boat owners are rich, but I recently bought a boat and I'm not rich. I bought a $25,000 boat, in fact, for the sum of $906. And I'm sure somebody is on it right now, ransacking it. I hope not. But if I believed in Jesus or karma or something like that, this would be a good time to ask myself, why do I expect others to treat me better than I treat them? Although, as you can see, most of this stuff isn't even listed as stolen once you break onto the ship. It's all yours for the taking. How can... Oh, phew, it's our guy. Hey, our guy, I know this may look like stealing, but there's a perfectly rational explanation. And as soon as I come up with it, I will tell it to you. I hope he doesn't rat me out to the city guard. Hope you rot, criminal scum. That's probably the best line in Oblivion. Oh, I can rest in this bed. Am I stealing from myself? It doesn't make sense though. If this is the boat that I bought, why did I have to break into it? But if it's not the boat I bought, why was I able to sleep in the bed for free? Perspiring minds want to know. But it says that bed is owned. This is quite confusing. Well, I think I remember this boat from like a quest or something. I think something important happens here. just have to happen with less loot. This is what happens when you leave your boat unattended. And you thought I was a good guy. Of course, nobody who knows me thinks that. Well, we already went through those areas. I guess if we're done robbing the place, we can go look for the boat we actually did buy. I probably should have paid attention to the directions of where the boat was. Well, that dock won't take us anywhere. Are you my boat? This may be my boat. It does have a lot of liquor on it, so that does seem like the sort of thing my boat would have. And I can sleep in the bed. This is probably my boat. From whence he came we did not know, but into the battle he rode, on a brilliant steed of pallid white. Elf we called him, for elf he was, yet unlike any other elf we called him, for elf he was, yet unlike any other of his kind we had ever seen before that day. His spear and armor bore the radiant and terrible glow of unknown magicka, and so adorned this unknown rider seemed more weight than warrior. What troubled, nay frightened most of us at that moment was the call that rose from the elven ranks. It was not fear, not wonder, but an unabashed and unbridled joy, the kind of felicity felt by a damned man who has been granted a second chance at life. For at that time, the elves were as damned and near death as ever they had been during the great skirmishes of Solstheim. The Battle of the Mosring was to be the final stand between Nord and Elf on our fair lady? Our fair what? Island. Okay. Led by Ismor, we had driven the elven scourge from Skyrim and were intent on cleansing Solstheim of their kind as well. Our warriors, armed with the finest axes and swords Nord craftsmen could forge, that music is way too loud again, cut great swaths through the enemy ranks. The slopes of the moss ring ran red with elf blood. Why then would our foe rejoice? Could one rider bring such hope to an army so hopeless? To most of our kind, the meaning of the call was clear, but the words were but a litany of elven chants and cries. There were some among us, however, the scholars and chroniclers, who knew well the words, and shuddered at their significance. The Snow Prince is come. Doom is at hand. There was then a great calm that overcame the elves that stood still. Through their masts the Snow Prince did ride, and as a long boat slices the icy waters of the Falging, he parted the ranks of his kin. The magnificent white horse slowed to a gallop, then a trot, and the unknown elf rider moved to the front of the line at a slow, almost ghost-like pace. A Nord warrior sees much in a life of bloodshed and battle,
and is rarely surprised by anything armed combat may bring. But few among us that day could have imagined the awe and uncertainty of a raging battlefield that all at once went motionless and silent. Such is the effect the Snow Prince had on all of us. For when the joyous cries of the elves had ended, there remained a quiet known only in the solitude of slumber. It was then our combined host, elf and Nord alike, were joined in a terrible understanding. Victory or defeat mattered little that day on the slopes of the Moss-Ring Mountains. The one truth we all shared was that death could come to many that day, victor and vanquished alike. The glorious Snow Prince, an elf unlike any other, did come that day to bring death to our kind, and death so he brought. Like a sudden violent snow squall that rends travelers blind and threatens to tear loose the very foundations of the sturdiest hall, the Snow Prince did sweep into our numbers. Indeed, the ice and snow did begin to swirl and churl about the elf, as if called upon to serve his bidding. The spinning of that gleaming spear whistled a dirge to all those who would stand in the way of the Snow Prince, and our mightiest fell before him that day. Ulfge, Anvil Hand, Strom the White, Frida Oaken Wand, Heimdall the Frenzied, all lay dead at the foot of the Moss-Ring Mountains. For the first time that day, it seemed the tide of battle had actually turned. The elves, spurred on by the deeds of the Snow Prince, rallied together for the last charge against our ranks. It was then, in a single instant, that the Battle of the Moss-Ring came to a sudden and unexpected end. Fina, daughter of Jofreor, a lass of only 12 years and squire to her mother, watched as the Snow Prince cut down her only parent. In a rage and sorrow, Fina picked up Jofreor's sword and threw it savagely at her mother's killer. When the elf's gleaming spear stopped its deadly dance, the battlefield fell silent, and all eyes turned to the Snow Prince. No one was more surprised that day. No one that day was more surprised than the elf himself at the sight that greeted them all. For upon his great steed the Snow Prince still sat, the sword of Jofreor buried deep in his breast, and then he fell from his horse, from the battle, from life. The Snow Prince lay dead, slain by a child. With their savior defeated, the spirit of the remaining elven warriors soon shattered. Many fled, and those that remained on the battlefield were soon cut down by our broad-Nord axes. When the day was done, all that remained was the carnage of the battlefield, and from that battlefield came a dim reminder of valor and skill, for the brilliant armor and spear of the Snow Prince still shine. Even in death, this mighty and unknown elf filled us with awe. It is a common practice to burn the corpses of our fallen foes. This is as much a necessity as it is custom, for death brings with it disease and dread. Our chieftains wished to cleanse Solstheim of the elven horde, in death as well as life. It was decided, however, that such was not to be the fate of the Snow Prince. One so mighty in war, yet so loved by his kin, deserved better, even in death, even if an enemy of our people. And so we brought the body of the Snow Prince, wrapped in fine silks, to a freshly dug burrow. The gleaming armor and spear were presented on a pedestal of honor, and the tomb was arrayed with treasures worthy of royalty. All of the mighty chieftains agreed with this course, that the elf should be so honored. His body would be preserved in the burrow for as long as the earth chose, but it would not be offered the protection of our Stalhrim, which was reserved for Norddead alone. So ends this account of the Battle of the Moss Ring and the fall of the magnificent elven snow prince. May our false gods honor him in death, and may we never meet his kind again in life. I took that book because obviously the elves lose in it, so I can't have people read it. I'm not going to read all these books to you. Your speechcraft skill increased. Your alchemy skill increased. I've recovered a sprig of Nirnroot. A plant ingredient this unusual must have value. Perhaps I should bring it to an alchemist and find out a little more about it. An alchemist can be found in almost every city in Cyrodiil. Cereal Brothers. Yeah, and Tamika Vintage. Oh, more books. If I were to read you the history of the Empire, I would certainly start with book 1. Your security skill increased. A lot of guidebooks. Those are nice to have. Thief of Virtue, your security skill increased. Guide to the Imperial City. Guide to Anvil. I'd like to go to Anvil someday. Your speechcraft skill increased. On Morrowind, I'll probably read that to you someday if you're not good to me. The Amulet of Kings. Mixed Unit Tactics. Guide to Anvil. I might go to Anvil someday. Wheat. Rice. Bread loaf leak. I hate it when my bread loaves leak. Okay, so I think they put a bunch of beds here for my companions. I don't know. And there's another level. Okay, well that's interesting. Dude, I don't have a key. Why am I trying to free this guy who will probably murder me if I do? And using up all my lockpicks. Dude, I'm out of lockpicks. I would love to free you, but I know I'm out of lockpicks. I just told that guy. Well, it seems like that may be a problem, having a monster living in my boat. I guess this sometimes happens when you shortchange a person on a boat you buy from them. Huntsman's leather pants. So, have you ever thought about that? I mean, he's hunting animals that you make leather from. That's got to be intimidating, right? Like, I'm gonna get you. I got some of your family members and I made pants out of them. He got out. Dude, this is my boat. I will not have you killing me. Of course, I might not have a choice. Yeah, it doesn't look like I had a choice. So it won't let me load this one? Why? Well, this time, hey, it didn't even let me, I was gonna say, you know, give me a chance to at least. Do I have anything that'll restore health? Because if not, I'm a dead mamma jamma. Oh, I got rid of, well, you know, I got rid of all my spells, so that's not going to be too good. Hey, any of this restore? I need to restore health, people. So far, none of this is restoring any health, so as soon as I get out of this, I'm dead. As in doorknob type dead. There's only one other thing I can think of to do. That would be to switch to a healing. Well, I could call one of my ancestors. Let's try switching to healing. Hit a healing spell. Hit a healing spell. Hurry, hurry. Healing. Healing, dude. Yeah, that didn't go too well. Yeah, killing him isn't gonna work. He doesn't want to be killed. I have no idea why he's mad at me, by the way. I gotta outspell him, and I don't think I can. Especially since I'm running out of magicka. Okay, I'm dead again. This isn't going too well. Oh. I had the other opportunity and I forgot to do it.
I don't think it's really gonna help, but we're gonna try. Don't I have like an ancestor I can pull up to? Let's see if my ancestor guardian will help. Well, I called him up, but I think I'm just too much in trouble in this particular save. I might have to go back to an earlier save. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to an earlier save.